Hello everyone and welcome to our webinar today about the Power Dialer, a function from our CTI Data Connector for Salesforce. Today's presentation will be recorded as usual. We will share all the information, the slides and the the recording itself in a follow-up email. And if you would have any kind of questions during this webinar, please do not hesitate to type them in the control panel. We will happily answer all the questions after the webinar in the ending in a Q&A session. We have 4 of us today joining as a speaker. My colleague Chidumen Chukwuemeka, he's a senior account executive, as well as myself. My name is Annika Seewald. And then we have Mr. Kostrin Bresnika, he's the senior customer success manager. And then we have Johannes Huber. He's the senior engineer and give us today an insight in a demonstration. Great. Today's agenda, we will start with a product overview from all the products Mirage provide with Salesforce. And then we go into the detail for the Power Dialer function itself, and jump into a live demonstration where we have an insight how the Power Dialer is looking like in Salesforce, how the functions are working, and how the configuration is done. Then we get a quick look about the new products which are coming soon, and then we end the session with a Q&A round where we happily will answer all your questions. Now I can hand over to my colleague, Chewy. He will tell us more about the products from Mirage.
Hello, good day and welcome everyone. As said, my name is Chewy. I'm actually in charge of our customers in part of Germany and North South America and the APEC region. So I'll give you an overview about the CTI Data Connector and the products and its associated products at the moment. The CTI Data Connector, you know, that's our main product, which is listed on the App Exchange, but we have in the last years developed and augmented the features of the CTI Data Connector. And furthermore, as you see, we have added 2-3 products to the CTI Data Connector. One of them is the automatic call distribution. The automatic call distribution helps you to distribute calls, incoming calls, based on Salesforce data. That actually means somebody calls, you have the person in Salesforce and the person is associated to an account owner in Salesforce. We can distribute that call directly to that account owner. We do have other forms of distribution the call, like distributing the call to somebody who actually had a task with the customer. Or we can also do write backs in Salesforce. That means somebody calls, drop out of the call. We can automatically, through the automatic call distribution, write the task in Salesforce so that the account owner can then call the customer back, as an example. Furthermore, with the audio link and archive service, we have the possibility of taking calls, recorded calls out of Salesforce, bring them into Salesforce via API. That means if the telephony site is recording a call, the recorded call, we can then do a backup of the call and connect those calls to Salesforce so that depending on permissions, you can consume the call in Salesforce. This actually works with many telephone systems. If you are interested in that, you can contact us so that we can individually look if your telephone system can support this functionality. Furthermore, we do have 2 contact center solutions. One, the CTI Data Connector for Microsoft Teams, where we do have now 3 solutions standing. Microsoft Teams with the CC for All connector. with the 3CX connector and the Swix connector, which is the latest connection which we are making to a telephone system. Furthermore, we have the CTI Data Connector for Amazon Connect, which is a browser-based system. The CTI as such, or the telephony as such, the cell phone is directly in the browser and connects with the CTI Data Connector automatically. The Mirage connector for Service Cloud Voice, you just have to know that Salesforce itself has two connecting systems with the CTI. One, the open source CTI, and the second one is Service Cloud Voice, which is a product then in the market from Salesforce. And this product, we have further extended the functionality of the product to other telephone systems. That means you are maybe using an Avaya, you may be using a Cisco telephone system, or a Swix, and you have the CTI Data Connector or the Service Cloud Voice in Salesforce. We can connect both systems with the Mirage connector. And we were one of the 7 partners in the world which were invited by Salesforce to build a connector for their Service Cloud Voice. Furthermore, right now we do have a contact center suite. That means combining the CTI Data Connector, the automatic call distribution, and the audio and archive service in one product. This works then with some telephone systems, and those telephone systems are actually the ones that are practically the systems that are working with Teams also. That means we can do a complete integration for sure with 3CX as system, as a telephone system, with Teams as a telephone system, and with Swix as a telephone system. But if you do have another telephone system other than the ones that I have just called, you can contact us for us to find out if your telephone system can be connected with all these products you have here. And talking about supported telephone systems, that's I would say one of our unique selling points, our USP. Our telephone system or our CTI Data Connector can be connected with more than 95% of the telephone systems on the world market. And you have, for example, cloud telephone systems, which are like, for example, Netphone or Playster. These are German products, which are cloud systems. We can connect that to Salesforce with the CTI Data Connector. Or when we talk about one or two or more than one or two on-prem systems like Avaya, like Cisco, like NEC telephone systems, we can also connect those systems to Salesforce using the CTI. That means we always tell our customers, especially for people that are going towards the direction of saying, okay, we need a new telephone system, contact us, especially if you want this CTI in Salesforce. Contact us so that we can sit together with you and find the appropriate product that fits your customer, your business needs, so that you can optimally bring those calls into Salesforce and have a better overview about your customer. And before I stop, I would like you to give us an insight into how you are already maybe using the CTI Data Connector. So the question is, are you already using a Power Dialer with your phone system? The possible answers are no, yes, and I plan to use a Power Dialer. We'll give you some 20 to 30 seconds for this answer, and then I'll hand over to my colleague. Okay, thank you for taking part in the question. I'll be handing over right now to Annika for her to give us an insight into the Power Dialer.
Thank you, Turi. Okay, let's go into detail about the function of the Power Dialer. First of all, if we talk about a Power Dialer, you could think about a contact center function, but or a call center function, I mean. And this is not really the main purpose of the Power Dialer, not at all. It gives you the possibility to automate and prioritize your calls without really using it with shared groups, so you can have a personal call lists, and this is of interest for the sales or administration part, also the service, if you would have specific needs to handle calls with Salesforce lists. And then you also have the possibility to use it for call centers by using campaigns which are, say, shared lists. So both ways would be an option to use. Then I would explain a bit about the terms that we use today. First of all, we have two different campaign types. One is the group call campaign. So these are shared campaigns with different users. And then we have the personal call campaigns, which can be assigned to just one user. And also the one user has access to manage the call campaign. Then when we speak about queues, it's or we are meaning by a queue a group of agent or users or Salesforce users, and a queue is assigned to a group call campaign. So multiple users can be added to one group call campaign. Then we have the list. The list itself includes the members of a call campaign, and the members are leads, contacts, or accounts in Salesforce that can be added into these lists. And then we have the Power Dialer administrator. He's the one who can create groups and personal campaigns. He can import and delete members from the lists. And this administrator can be defined for, or the SS as an administrator can be any kind of user who gets the admin role. So it's separated from the normal Salesforce administrator assist. Sorry. Okay, then the group call campaign. This means that the campaign has a list of members and multiple users, typically assigned from the administrator, has access to this call campaign. And you can see it here in the screenshot that we have 4 tabs. This is the first tab is the group call list, which is shared from all the members who are in this list. And then we have the personal call list with members of the call campaign. So it means the agent from this group call campaign are able to lock a specific member to his own personal call list, and then furthermore lock them in a scheduled call list or maybe in the complete call list. Then we have the personal call campaign. This is a call list from members, which is exclusively assigned just to one user. And this one user has the access and the possibility to define what happens in this campaign. So it can be created by the administrator or from the user itself. We see it here in a screenshot that there's 3 tabs available. The personal call list with all the members of the campaign, and then you have the section or the list for the scheduled call lists and the complete call list. Yes, and you would use it for topics like new leads or my top opportunities, important calls or contract renewal. I would not need to use tasks in Salesforce for that anymore. I can directly handle all the follow-up calls in CTI with these lists. So it really helps you to organize it and categorize it. Then we are in the section scheduled call list. We see it here in the screenshot that it's the second list here with the clock, and this is the list where you can define a specific date or time when you want to call this member. It can be defined when you are adding this member into the campaign, or after the call. If I may try to reach Lisa and Lisa is not available, then I could say I want to call her again in 10 minutes or next week. Then it's automatically jumping into the scheduled call list, and after the counter from my date or time is done, then it's automatically jumping back to my personal call list, so I know, okay, now I should call this member. Then we are in the last section, is the completed calls. If I finalize the call completely, so there is no need for a follow-up call, then I would define it as done in the Power Dialer, and then it shows up only in the list from the completed calls. And yeah, so I can manage my lists to not calling a customer again if it's not needed. Then the administration and phone system, you have a comprehensive administration and different import options, and it works with any kind of telephone system. It doesn't matter which kind of connection you are using at the moment with the CTI Data Connector. You can be sure that you are able to use the Power Dialer. Okay, adding a member. You can select a contact, lead, or account in Salesforce, and then after activating the function of the Power Dialer, you will have a section add to call campaign. This is here in the screenshot. In the right corner, then I can define to add the contact into the call campaign. And then I can select the campaign and also define a specific date or time if needed. It would look like this. Here I have my drop down to choose my call campaign. I could also create a complete new call campaign, and I can choose a specific date and time when this user should be, or this member should be called. Then ready to call after a few seconds. If I added the member into the call campaign, then it's already showing up in my personal list, or if it's a shared, then in the group call campaign. And I could directly call this member. Okay, member of multiple campaigns. If you want to know if the contact is already in different call campaigns, I can choose in the contact itself under the related list a call campaign members, and then it shows up in which call campaigns they are at the moment joining. Okay, this was from my side a quick introduction into the Power Dialer functions, but now we want to see it live, how it's really working in Salesforce and how it's also configured. And I would hand over to Johannes and also give him the permission for the screen.
Hello, also from my side. I think you can see my screen now. As you see here in the top corner, we are in the Sales CTI app, and we have the CTI soft phone in Salesforce, just like we already have it in the older versions. And now we have the Power Dialer icon. We can just click it, and there we have the selection for the call campaigns. But now we want to add a new call campaign, for example, and also maybe a new queue. For this, we can open the Power Dialer app, the Mirage Power Dialer setup. And in this app, we have the accounts, contacts, and leads already in these Salesforce tabs. We can just add them to a call campaign, to an existing one. But for now, we want to create a new queue. For example, we have a new releases queue. Save this queue, and we want to assign users to this queue. So I will for now assign myself to this queue, and we didn't have a call campaign assigned to it, so we want to also switch the view here. You see we already have a couple of test call campaigns, but for our new releases queue, we want to create a new call campaign. For example, the release 6.8. And we want to have this in the new releases queue. To assign it to a queue, we need to have this one checked and to get the call campaign active. We can save it for now. And now we have also in the queues, in the new release queue, we have the call campaign assigned. Now this call campaign is empty, and we want to, for example, add all the contacts. And we can just select them and add them to our new call campaign, to the release 6.8. We don't want to schedule the campaign, so just want to add it. And as you saw, we can also create a new campaign via this button. So we don't need to create it via this tab. And for example, we want to add also some leads to this campaign. But now I saw I don't want to add the test lead to this campaign, and we can just bulk delete entries or members from the call campaigns via the remove call campaign members tab. So we want to delete the lead, select the test lead, and we can just remove it, or for example, we could just remove all of them. But for now, we just want to remove the test lead. So we are settled for now, and we switch back to the Sales CTI app and check our phone. And we don't see it yet, so we need to do a quick relog, and then we are able to see our new queue. Sorry, we don't see the queue, we see the call campaign that is assigned to the queue. Okay, Salesforce takes its time. Maybe a quick reload solves the problem. And if we now open the Power Dialer, we see we have the release 6.8 and also all the leads and the contacts in here. We have also, just to get a better overview, we have a pagination in here, so we can switch the pages to all the other records. And we can also refresh the view. So for example, sometimes it happens that the page doesn't refresh, or As Annika said, we also have the possibility to lock a member, and to get the actions on a member, we need to select it, and then we have the actions down there. So with this button, we can move it to our personal list, and we see we have it in the personal list. Also, we have more actions here in the personal list. We can also already mark it as completed, or move it to our scheduled list and already, for example, schedule it in 5 minutes, and we have it in here. So the refresh button comes in handy here, so we can hit the refresh and we see the remaining time is updated. Okay, so for example, we now want to call Peter Schmidt. We can open the contact via pressing the contact link, or we can directly call the number. So we are now calling, and we should take the call. And here we have our normal CTI interface. We can document our call like we are used to it, and assign it to the contact in the background. For example, we want to arrange a meeting. And then we terminate the call and set it, for example, as completed, or reschedule it. For now, we just want to set it to completed. And now we can just save the call, and we have it in the activity in the background. The outbound call, arrange a meeting. And in our Power Dialer, we have the call in the completed list. And we can also reschedule it and move it to the other lists again, if we want. Okay, then I have one more option to show you. So we created a campaign that is related to a queue, but we can also create a call campaign that is our personal one. So we create a new one. For example, name it my leads and opportunities, and now uncheck the assign to a queue button, and now we can assign it to a user, for example to myself, and save it. And then I also have this list after relog, the call campaign in my Power Dialer. Yeah, that's it for the demonstration, and we right now have a poll for you.
Many thanks, Johannes. And You should also see again my screen. I start the poll. We have a quick question before we proceed with the webinar. It would be great if you would have the time to type your answer for that. The question is how about the Power Dialer. How would you use it? If you have any use cases for that, maybe lead calling, or you have a call center, or about sales, regular calls to leads and customers, or maybe contract renewals, or I do not have a use case for a Power Dialer. I would say maybe yet, or maybe after this meeting you would have. Okay, great. Many thanks for your answers. And now we would proceed. And I can hand over to Kostrim. He will show us about the next features that we can expect coming soon.
Thank you, Annika, and hello everyone, and thank you all for joining us today in our Power Dialer webinar. First of all, my name is Kostrim. I recently joined Mirage System as a Senior Customer Success Manager and will be the contact person for our customers in the after sales. And among other things, my job is to ensure that our customers can use all the relevant functionalities of the CTI Data Connector, the Power Dialer, and all of them. So here is a short information about the update installation. It is worth mentioning that the premium support included up to 2 installations per year and prioritized support, as well as support via web meeting, are included in the premium support. By the paid installation, it always depends on what kind of installation it is. And by the SMS setup, the customer registers or must have an AVS account, and the installation takes about 2 hours. So in the next slide, we would like to introduce to you what will come soon, still at innovations. Synchronize presents status Microsoft Teams with Salesforce to PBX and supporting more phone systems. For example, in the current release, if I am in the meeting in the Microsoft Teams and my Microsoft Teams status is set to in a meeting, it will automatically sync with the status in the Salesforce and 3CX as a phone system. Once the meeting or call is over, then the status is automatically changed back to available. In the upcoming release, which will be out by the end of this year, synchronization for multiply PBXs will be possible, as well as a resynchronization. Resynchronization means that when the status in the PBX is changed, it will automatically be transferred to Salesforce and Microsoft Teams. By GoToConnect will be more tighter integration using more features of GoToConnect. The Power Dialer in the future will be continue to expand, and all the functionalities of high velocity sales are supported from the CTI Data Connector. Okay. Then we go to the topics upcoming webinars. In this summer 2022 release webinar will take place on the 6th in August. And we are very happy to be present at the first live event in Munich and the 2nd June beginning at 9 o'clock. There you all can meet our Mirage team live at our booth. And last but not least, you also can register via our website, mirage-system.com. And under webinars and videos, you can also watch the previous webinar videos. So that was from my side. Thank you very much. And I hand over again back and continue for the question and answers.
Many thanks. Great. Now we are in the end of our webinar, and we have now time for all the questions. Let me take a look regarding. We have one and two questions. The first one, I think I give it to you, Kastrim. I'm sure, sorry, Chewy. Is the Power Dialer a paid feature? Chewy, you are currently muted.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, Power Dialer as a paid feature, that's not the case. As many of our features, or let me say, features that we add to the CTI Data Connector, all of them are not paid features. The Power Dialer, if you want to use the Power Dialer as a feature, what you probably need to do is to book, as Costume just said, you need to book a 1 to 2 hours meeting with us. If you don't have the premium support, so that we can then show you how to integrate the feature into your existing system. And you then also need to upgrade your system to the latest 6.8 version of the CTI. But it's not it's all not paid. That means the feature is not paid.
Great, thank you, Chewy. Maybe the next or the second question would go to you, Johannes. Can I import Salesforce campaigns?
No, not with a button, but you are able to export the Salesforce campaigns to Excel and can then import them as a call campaign via the data import wizard. And yeah, that's a little workaround that is working for us.
Okay, thank you, Johannes. Then we have one question remaining. What are the requirements to use the Power Dialer? I think I can answer that. The requirements are to use the current update, as Chewy already said. So you need our spring release 2022, and then you can activate and configure the Power Dialer function. So the current release is needed, and then the function is available. Okay, I think there's no other questions remaining.